It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Not just any people on the earth. Let's make that clear first. The people that are destroyed for lack of knowledge isn't just any people on the earth, but it's my people, the Father says, are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Father, forgive them for their lack of knowing. They are only destroyed because they lack knowing the truth, Father. So forgive them for their ignorance, which is darkness. A great light has shined to the people who sat in ignorance. See? Darkness. That darkness is where deception is done. Deception only is done in the dark. That's why he said, those who come into the light come so that their deeds are made manifest. Manifest means open so that people can see it. But those who will not come to the light, they don't come to the light because they do not want their deeds to be made manifest. So then all you have to do is decide, what people are you? Because like I said in my message yesterday, there are a lot of people saying that they are God's people, and they're not. They just want to be. So they portray themselves that they are. Let's see. Marvel not, for the angel, for Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. See? So I'm not looking for my enemy to come to me openly looking like an enemy. That's being destroyed for lack of knowledge. When you have knowledge, you know that your enemy are those of your own household. And that goes on many levels, because if it's true on one, it's true on all. So the household you claim to be a part of, that's where your enemies will be. This is about a purging. This is about a separation. See? I'm separating my people from those who are not, because those who are not have infiltrated and blended in with my people as though they are mine. And they are not mine. Wolves in sheep's clothing describes what I just told you, doesn't it? Or does it describe something else? Disguising himself as an angel of light describes what I just told you, right? And what was he referencing by saying he disguises himself as an angel of light? He was talking about his children. Those tares in that field that Abba says an enemy has done this and planted these here. Those are the ones he's talking about. They do like their father, just like Christ said. You are of your father, the devil, who was a murderer from the beginning. He abode not where? He abode not where? In the truth. So then where is your power? Where is your strength as God's people? It's obvious. What makes you free? What keeps you from being destroyed? Look at it. It's the same answer every time, isn't it? So do you see why he said it was a pearl of great price that when a man found it, he sold everything else that he had so that he could obtain it? You don't hear that? A pearl of great price. Once you obtain it, you don't need anything else. What is that? It's the truth. Once you know the truth of something, can you be deceived? No. And that's the only thing that's working against you is deception. So what fights deception? Truth does. See why you don't prosper if you don't enter into truth? If you're living any lies, your enemy is winning. You see? So as long as you're calling yourself by a deceptive word, using the Negroes as an example, they were called colored. I know this from personal experience because my grandmother's birth certificate said colored on it. I saw it. My mother's birth certificate says Negro on it. I've seen it. But yet my birth certificate says black on it. I've seen that one too. So you explain that to me. You explain it to me. Those are 3 generations of the same bloodline, but yet each generation is called by a different name. And this isn't the world of deception we're living in. Okay, well then you over there in Germany right now, your birth certificate says what on it? What does your mother's say if she's from Germany too? And if her mother's from Germany, what does her birth certificate say? How come it doesn't say German on your grandmother's and then on your mother's it says Bluba, Bluba, and then on yours it says Kuka? So your grandmama was German, your mama was Bluba, and you was a Kuka. That don't sound right and go together right. Shit. 2 cats come together and have a litter of kittens, but they're not cats. You're pointing at the cats, the mother and the father, cat, cat, and you get to the babies, dog. Nice try, but they are meowing. They're not barking. They're chasing a ball of yarn, but they won't chew on my shoes like the dog does because they're different. So nice try of deceiving, it won't work because I have knowledge. I know what I'm looking at. See, when that's what your enemy is using as deception, then all you need to do is know. That's all you need to do. If you're destroyed for lacking knowing, then what happens when you know? Simple math. It's simple. 2 + 2. You ain't destroyed no more. That's simple. You shall know the truth, and that makes you free. That's the pearl of great price. It's the truth. Now, this destruction that's coming on the earth is coming because of what? They love not the truth. That's it. That's it. Love not the truth. So if you love the truth, then even if you aren't God's people, he will receive you as if you are. If you love the truth, that's right. That's why the God's people, Israelites, and then the Gentiles, and then God says, I'm going to graft in some branches out of the Gentiles. That wouldn't be there if what I said wasn't true, which is if you love the truth, then you can be accepted because Abba's no respecter of persons. You keep my commandments, you're going to see me. Out of all nations, I shall gather them. That's right. People who love the truth because they're set free. It didn't say specifically who will be set free if they hear the truth. It's anybody who believes the truth. It's set free from any ignorance and lies. So if your parents, in this case, we're calling Negroes colored, and then you grew up and you found out the truth, you said, honestly, they're Israelites, Dad. And you start calling them Israelites, well, then you're no longer ignorant, even though your dad may be still. And then once you've told him the truth, he has a choice to either hate the truth, no, hell with that, they're just niggers, or accept the truth. Wow, I see the biblical proof. I know that what we've been told is a lie. We all know that's not true. Caesar Borgia, we all know that's not true. We all know the Charlton Heston and all that was a lie. We all know that. So then what's the truth? Remember, man, this is about a pearl. Pearl of great price. Pearl is one thing. The truth is one thing. See? Because I guarantee you in your life, you can search high and low. Search through all the wisdom, all the books, read, study, and do all kind of stuff. You can gather and gather and gather, but if you don't have the truth, then you don't have anything. You don't. You don't have any solid rock to build anything on. In order to build, you need the truth of some sort to build it on. You're going to build a house, you need a rock of a foundation. Just because somebody says there's a rock of foundation there doesn't mean it is. You need to make sure that it is, or your house will be destroyed because you lack knowing if there was a sure foundation or not. See how simple it is? So what is the sure foundation that we build our houses on? What did Christ tell you? A man who keeps my saying, I will liken him to a wise man. So then the foundation stone of our lives are the sayings of Yahusha. Very simple. Very simple. Why do you think the scripture says that we have all built off of the cornerstone? The foundation stone, we have all built off of that. All the ministers of Christ have built on top of that cornerstone. In other words, all the ministers of Christ preach unique little things that they gather, but it's all coming from the same thing, which is Christ. And the one who can teach most what Christ has taught is who has done it the most. Not who heard it, but who has applied Christ's teachings the most, has actually learned if there was a rock of foundation there or not before he built his house. Because that's true wisdom, not just hearing something and then saying, okay, well then it must be good for me. No. It's seeing if it actually is or not. So you have to do what Christ said. And what did he say happens when you do what he says? In other words, keep his word. He says, the storms of life will beat against your house, which you've built, but it won't fall because it was founded upon a solid rock, Christ. And he won't let it fall because he has already overcome the world. So if you let your ego drop and accept Christ as your identity, then now you will never fall and you have overcome. He who overcomes shall sit where? And then he who overcomes as I have overcome shall sit where? Now, that's an example of what I mean, what I just did right there. I haven't told you where he'll sit. I'm asking you where he will. Why? Because I'm checking to see if you know, if the answer is already in your heart, because it should be. Because if you're a follower of Christ, then that scripture I just asked you about would apply to you, wouldn't it? All these so-called Christians calling themselves followers of Christ, if that's true, then that means your end is to overcome the world and to sit where? Now, if we're all following the same Christ, our answers should be the same. See, and I'll give you the answer, and then you see if you got the same answer that I'm about to tell you. He shall sit with me in my throne. I'll give you a precept for that. Where I am, there you may be also. So if I'm sitting with him in his throne, then we are one. And then what did he tell you? I and my Father are one. I am sitting with my Father in his throne. That's what he said. So then I know good math. That means that if I keep your sayings, I will overcome the world just as you did, and I will sit where you are, which is in the throne with the Father. So you, me, and the Father will be one. That's right. That's right. And what does that actually mean in your being, since that's what the kingdom is? It means the Spirit, truth in man. Because those who worship him must worship him how? In spirit, which is Abba, is a spirit, invisible, and in truth, which is the word that we heard. For your word is truth, Father. Now, how do I know all these answers? See how I'm not destroyed? Because I know the answers. I know it because I stand on his word. That's why. If I'm asked a question, I give them the answer Christ would give them. I don't give them my answers. That keeps me blameless. That keeps me perfect and pure. But y'all don't understand that. That's what keeps me clear, is his blood. And what is his blood? His words that are actually written in red in the Bible. That's why they're written in red, so that you could see that they're the blood Christ told you to drink. That was his sacrifice. What was it? Revealing the ultimate truth to you. Now, why is that a sacrifice? Because it causes you to give up your life. That's why. That's why he tells all of you that say you follow him, that you must give your life up. You have to do what I did if you want the rewards I have. If you want to sit where I'm sitting, you have to do like I did. So then there's no need in no longer going along with your own will. Submit your will like I did. Even when you don't want to, just like I did. Father, if it be at all possible, let this cup pass from me. But nonetheless, let your will be done. So then our prayer should be, Father, your will is being done in me. Simple as that. Your will shall be done in me. Not mine. Not darkness, not ignorance, but light and truth. Well, that's Christ. So if I build everything that I do and say off of his words, in other words, like this, if somebody sees me living and they say, grandson, why are you living so precarious like that? Each day you have the needs met and you take no thought for tomorrow. Tomorrow will take thought for the things of itself. That's why I live like that. Whose thought is that? And see, people think it's your thought because they don't know the truth. So they're not free. They're still in bondage thinking that they're free because they can pay for tomorrow. They can pay for next week. That's already solved for a lot of people. They got 6 months paid up on rent. They got a year paid up on rent. Groceries galore. So they're not considering what Christ said. It's like the scriptures tell you. They think they're wise, but Abba has made the wisdom of this world foolishness. Wise would be storing up, stacking up, preparing for years ahead, having 5-year and 10-year plans. That's wisdom of the world. That's folly to God. God said take no thought for tomorrow, but that takes a lot of faith and courage to do that. See? So if I do it, then when I am attacked by people for doing it, I give them his words and they don't know they're his. But when I show them that they're his, then they're ashamed of themselves. And that's when they're ready to stone you. That's when they're ready to put you out of their midst. That's when they despitefully use you and hate you because you're exposing the fact that they're not doing what Christ said to do. And you're not exposing it by telling it like hypocrites do. You're exposing it by doing it humbly. Quietly. You're not blowing a trumpet and letting everybody know what you're doing. You're just humbly living that lifestyle. Trusting in the Father, having faith for each day's provision, just like a bird does, because that's what Christ told us. He wouldn't have told us that if he didn't expect us to do it. But niggas ain't doing it, and that's fine with me. You don't want to do it, that's your choice. That's your choice. You don't want to do it, that's on you. But don't get mad at me for doing it and exposing the fact that you're rebellious and won't do it. Don't get mad at me for that. Don't take that out on me. Take it up with Christ because these are Christ's principles, not mine. I am not the one who told all of you, take no thought for tomorrow. So why are you mad at me for not taking thought? I'm not the one who told you, take no thought of what you should eat or drink. I'm not the one who told you that. But when I live like that and ask you guys to live like that, you're mad at me and call me a fool. But then you say you serve Christ. Who's the one who said those things? Who's really the fool here? When you ain't destroyed for lack of knowing, then you know some shit. And one of the things that I do know is because of men's hard hearts and rebellion, most of them don't listen to nothing Christ says. They just say that they do. They just say they do. And my thing is, if you don't do what Christ says, but you know that what he's saying is true, then why won't you do it? And if what he's saying is not true, then why do you claim him? Swing, swing, swing. Suluwam Israel.